My name is Prere Opofani, and you're welcome to my podcast. What God said, no, that's not what I want. I want the sacrifice of remembrance, of praise. Praise me, thank me for who I am, for what I have done. So this is me scribbling my own story on my rock, on my stone. So that's why we have the name Stories in the Stone. Hello. It's Prere Opofani again. Yes, and it's still Stories in the Stone. And so this particular episode is a time when I had to homeschool my children. Ta-da! It was a horrible time. It was we've been through a lot, but God really showed up for us. So my children were at that time in a school, and we just couldn't afford it anymore. We couldn't afford it, and it did not make a lot of sense. And one day I just heard clearly, loudly, homeschool your children. Finish. And stop giving yourself headache. I'm like, oh my God, what will people say? Oh, my children, blah, blah, blah. I really didn't know what to do. I said, but I can't continue. I can't keep begging or asking or begging and owing. I just can't. You know, it was the hardest thing. If you're saying this, please, just show love to Uncle Sele for him to allow us to share this thing. If you're saying it, because like I said, it's also a story too. It's not my story. I didn't make decisions on my own. You know, so we prayed about it and we said, look, let's do it. Let's see what will come out of it. And we withdrew them. We had a talk with them. And said, we're going to homeschool you for a while. And as God will have it, I saw a platform, an online school thingy, and funny enough, there are some students there, people were homeschooling their children, and I was confused. I'm like, really? My own is because I don't have money to pay for this other school, and I just need time to balance out and decide what to do. But I realized that when we got on the online platform for the school, my youngest daughter hated it. She totally hated it. And she used to cry every morning, Mommy, I don't want to go to school. But you know, after that whole time, it was honestly, a time because I had to be with them, basically, homeschooling, even though they had an online teacher. I can't believe we had that discussion in my house. We used to have an online teacher. So they had a teacher, but I had to sit through with them and say, okay, so what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this subject or this topic? What don't you like about it? And blah, 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 and all of that. I had to be there. I didn't realize that they were really doing badly before in their other school for all the other reasons. I didn't realize that, okay, so these are my children needed that homeschooling. They needed me to sit with them and say, okay, let's do it differently. There was nothing wrong with the other school, but I just needed to spend time with my children, apparently, even though I thought it was because I didn't have money. So we're able to adjust and change things, you know. And I was like, things are getting better. I like this homeschool. And they reported us to their grandma, but we're ready to get them back into school. So in looking for the school, this is the most amazing thing. It came, like God just arranged the school to come. Because I was praying, I said, Lord, where should I take my children to? Literally, I don't want to make a mistake, especially from where we're coming from and all of that. And God sent someone. It was orchestrated. I know it was God. And we eventually found it. In fact, it was the day I was about to step out. It was that day. I said, they came to advertise in my estate and bring your children to our school, admissions, we're still taking children, blah, blah, blah. And I saw that it was someone that attends my church. And I said, okay, is this a sign? Okay, I was going to another school. And I went there and that's how we got them back into school. Now, the real testimony is after that time of confusion and fear and anger that we're homeschooling our children, after that time, immediately we put them back in school. God said that we're going to build a school in Makoko. Does that make sense? See, our children were homeschooling because we couldn't afford to take them to school. And immediately we did that homeschooling, like we stayed at home. It's as if God wanted to put that compassion in us. He wanted us to know that there are people like this. He wanted us to know how they felt. Immediately we're okay enough and we put them back in school. That same year, we had to build a school in Makoko. Now, because I said I sent my children back to school, it doesn't mean that we had money to build a school. We didn't know how, we didn't know where we're going to start from. And because over the years and all the things that we had begun to see and the mappings that we had begun to do, we saw that, look, literally God just always shows up for us. He never is the one that shows up and never leaves us stranded. Daddy God. We had realized the pattern. We had seen that if God is saying it, then let's just move. There's a reason why and there's a how. And we just moved. See, no organization till now. Maybe when by the time you're watching this, I will come back and say, the Lord has done it and we're expecting it. But no organization has given us money in our foundation. Individuals that trust the work that we're doing, they have seen our track record, and they just contribute, they donate, they support. And we're able to raise a building, to build an extended school, 6 more classrooms in Makoko. And that was just mind-blowing, because it was exactly a year of homeschooling. Then a year later, we had built a school. Who does that? It can only be God. Only be God. Like, it literally told us that don't worry. The devil is not having a way. It's not the devil that had a way with you. It's not the devil that trapped him. No. It literally wanted to put that compassion, because we felt so passionate about it. And no. Let's build this school. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. But where did that come from? If we had not experienced it, if we had not experienced the fear of, hey, God, what will happen? So you mean our children can't go to school? For me, it's the 360 degrees turnaround. As in, God is just amazing. He's awesome. I trust God absolutely. It was at that moment we began to understand that God has a plan. God has a reason. We need to look into what He's doing. We need to trust. We need to lean in and just believe that if God says it, if God is doing it, God is in it. Trust. That the enemy might think he has a way. The enemy might think he has caught them. He has, He's the one that always turns what the enemy means for evil and turns it around for good. For good. And we built a school that year. Barely, I can't get over it. Barely a year after. The same as in just a year. The transformation. And since then, things have just changed. Like, we're building another school this year at a Laurel community. I mean, as in, God is amazing. God needed us to know that He's the one and He's our source. And that is why we have no doubts whatsoever. Anytime we have a project, anytime we have anything we're working on, whether it's Christmas memories, whether it's rebirth, whether it's slumberings, we have lots of projects we're working on now. I mean, we just totally go and trust God. So I look back at my life and say, God has been the one. He has always been there, always showing up, never leaves me stranded. So anywhere I am now, whatever challenge, I know that He can never leave me stranded. He has a plan. He has a design. I just need to look back and say, God, what's that design? What's that plan? What's the arrangement? What is it? I want to align with heaven, and let's just go. Let's just move. And that's how we literally do everything that we do now, because we know that He's one that never leaves us. Never leaves us stranded. Yeah. So I hope that story has encouraged you. And I want our children to look back and remember, they too, they're part of this story. They know it. They know it and said, can you remember we were homeschooled one time? I hated that school. I hated homeschooling. And they know that now God has moved us and we're now able to build a school. It's such a mind-blowing testimony. They would never forget. They never forget it. They know that God is truly on our side. God is truly with us, and it's God that is our source. So I hope this story has blessed you. That's my story in stone. I never want to forget that. That was a huge turnaround for us. I hope you're blessed. Thank you.